Okay, in this first part I am going to tell you the ingredients for the green puree or the puree and then how we're going to do it. First you need about 3/4 cups of raw spinach, 3/4 cups of broccoli florette, and then 3/8 cups of sweet green peas, and what I did was do 1/4 of a cup and then a half of a fourth of a cup, and that's 3/8. And then we'll need some tablespoons of water. And what we're going to do is first we're going to steam the broccoli and spinach. Now you could do it on the stove if you want, but I'm going to put mine in the microwave for 8 or 10 minutes. And then the last 2 minutes I'm going to use the peas. And then after we do that, we are going to put everything in a blender and puree it. And as you puree it, you'll want to put, a tablespoon of water here and there, puree it, stop every once in a while, push everything down, and you want to puree it pretty smooth. And use water sparingly, but use it to smooth. I think last time I did it, it took about 1 to 3 tablespoons of water. So that is how we are going to make the puree. Okay, hopefully you have a better blender than me. I actually had to put it in this little chopper first and chop it up, and then I put it in the blender to puree it. But we have our green puree, so we will use some of that for the pesto, and then we'll use some of that for the actual pizza. So let's move on to the next step. Here is the ingredients for the pesto that we're fixing to make. First, we have some basil, and I just went to our local supermarket, bought a package, and just cut it off. I have a little bit less than she calls for, but I think it'll be okay. And then we have 1/2 cup of walnuts, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of lemon juice, a 1/2 cup of vegetable broth, some ground pepper, a 1/2 cup of our green sauce that we made in the previous section, and then we will also need a 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese, and then I don't have it here but I'm fixing to get it, is a 1/2 cup of either walnut oil or extra virgin olive oil, and I'll be using the olive oil. Okay, the first thing we will do is put the basil in the food processor, and we're going to just pulse it a few times. Okay, next we are going to add the walnuts, the garlic. Did I tell you we had garlic? There's 4 to 6 garlic cloves chopped. I have to go back and see. I'm not sure. Seems like I forgot that. And then also the salt and the lemon juice. And then lastly the vegetable broth, and we are going to just puree this. And if this does not work well, I may actually put in my big blender, but I think I'll be okay. So we're going to puree this now. I also forgot we need to add the green puree that we made a while ago to this pesto. Okay, I'm actually moving this to this because our next step is slowly adding the oil into the pesto. It says feed it through the tube, but with my blender I don't have a tube, so I'm just going to do like maybe a tablespoon or 2 at a time and blend it or puree it in there. And then the last step will be to add the Parmesan cheese and go to him puree that, and then we will have our pesto done. This is our pesto. I haven't tasted it yet, but it smells good.
I'm not even sure what's all in the pesto sauce, but it is very flavorful, and it's very spicy. So it grabs your attention, but it's very flavorful. I like it a lot. The pesto sauce, this is probably the healthiest pesto sauce that you'll ever have. It even has broccoli in it, and it is so good. The herbs and the garlic and they cover over it doesn't have a strong broccoli flavor at all, but you're getting a lot more bang for your pesto that way, a lot more health benefits, and it's very good. It's very spicy, so for people who really like to have a lot of flavor right off the bat, this is really good pesto.
Once again, the sponsor of this show currently is my Amazon link until we find some real sponsors, which we're working on. So if anybody would like to sponsor this, give me an email and we can talk. But what I'm going to do is just share real quickly about the book I used in tonight's recipe. And for the meal I made tonight, we used the Sneaky Chef, and this one is actually the Sneaky Chef for your man's edition, which although I know it's going in, I like using it because to get your vegetables in that you need, she puts them in purees and puts them in meals, and I just don't need a lot of vegetables. So this helps me get vegetables in my my diet. And then also how we came across actually knowing about this lady who is Missy Lapine. She has a Sneaky Chef for Children's Edition, and we have used that. Actually, if you get that book, the best recipe in there is her butternut squash French toast. I know it doesn't sound delicious, but it is. And the thing that we have learned is in this grown-up edition for your man, I haven't done too many recipes yet, but what I have done, I have enjoyed. But in the children's book, we have actually used 3 or 4 different types of recipes, and our daughter has 8 things that she never knew she'd eat. And if she knew what they were, she would not probably eat it. So it does help you sneak some of those vitamins and nutritious things you need in your child's meal or your husband or wife's meal. And the only thing I would say is she has purees, and unless you're going to use this book exclusively, she's had me make too much. So I've learned how to look at the recipe I'm doing and then just make enough of the puree, which is the vegetables usually blended up to put in with other things. You know, I just figure it out and make me just enough puree for that one meal or whatever I'm making. So that'd be the only adjustment I have. But you can click our Amazon link and go see this cookbook and other cookbooks. And again, we thank you for watching the show. And if you made it this far, again, thank you. Let us know what recipes you would like us to try on future episodes. And then also leave a comment in the comment section letting us know what you think about the show, how we can improve it. Like I said, what you'd like to see us cook in future episodes. So remember, this is not a diet, but we are changing a lifestyle.